Hey kitty, you gonna do my video today? Or are you gonna let me have my share? You wanna do today's video? You wanna do today's video? Or do you wanna give me back my share? What you wanna do, kitty? The camera is on you. The mics are on. What you wanna do? You want you wanna give me back my chair? I don't care if you're tired. You gonna get up and give me back my chair so I can get to work and put out a video for my followers? What you gonna say? Got something to say on today's topic? Nothing to say at all. I don't think my I don't think my followers or my viewers are gonna appreciate you just sitting there and doing nothing. I mean, I do get that some people love animals. In fact, I had somebody the other day ask about you. So for that individual, yes, I still do have my cat. She's not going nowhere. As long as she's alive, she's gonna be with me. All right, kitty. You're gonna have to get up. I gotta get to work here. Well, let's get on with the video. Oh man, that chair feels good. Thanks to Kitty, my chair is nice and warm, so I appreciate that. Hey Kitty, thanks for warming up my chair. I appreciate it. All right, let's get on with the video. Welcome to Andrew's Life. I hope everyone is having a wonderful one so far. Now, I'm pretty sure many of you, especially if you're my age, a Gen X or older, even some of you older millennials, you probably been told your entire life what you needed to do and how you needed to do it in order to be successful out here. And I notice a lot of times, especially on social media, whenever someone puts out a video talking about their hardships, whether it be the lack of money. I gotta get me some new glasses, people. I've been putting it off, but I need to get to it, man. This is ridiculous. Anyways, uh, recently there's been a lot of people that have been putting out videos talking about their hardships, whether it be homelessness or it be the lack of money to be able to pay all their bills, or it be some sort of health condition. And one thing I notice almost every time when I click on a video like that and I watch, and then I read the comments on videos like that, is, well, you should have done this. You should have done that. I remember a year and a half ago when I put out the video that changed the whole dynamic of this channel. It's a video I put out about a year and a half ago. It was in June of 2024. It was called Everybody Should Prepare for Homelessness. And then following that video, I put out a few more videos to where I was discussing homelessness in detail. I was even given data about certain aspects of homelessness. And there were many people in the comments on those videos that, rather than, now some people were sympathetic, and they understood what was going on and felt bad for the people that were going through it. But there were a lot of people that were in the comments talking about, well, that's why I work two jobs and I have a gazillion side hustles. That way I will never be homeless. That's why I do this. That's why I do that. Or two, it would be something along the lines of, well, you should have done this. Well, you should have done that. And I noticed that a lot recently. Whenever someone puts out a video to where they're going through it, there's a lot of people out here that rather than being sympathetic and try to be understanding of what the person is going through, a lot of people will automatically resort to, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. Or two, people will perceive to put themselves on a high horse, acting like they better than the person that's making the video because they didn't make such a mistake. And one thing which I would like you guys to at least think about is whether you're doing good in life or you're doing crappy in life or you're somewhere in the middle. I would challenge you guys to think about just the way that this society is being ran. And I'm going to break it down right now. Like, for an example, when you're a kid, you're told to go to school, get good grades. Upon graduation from high school, go to college, earn a degree, get a good paying job. Now, some schools, they might actually tell some of their students to go learn a trade, which that doesn't seem to happen as much as it should happen. But sometimes, some of these schools will be a little bit more realistic and understand that not everybody is cut out for college, and college is very, very expensive, as many of you guys realize. But anyways, you're told go to school, get good grades, go to college, earn a degree, get a good paying job. But when you stop and think about it, how good was your high school education? What did you truly learn? I mean, yes, you went through 12 years of high school, you graduated, you may have made straight A's, some of y'all, and you earned your high school diploma. But what did you really learn? I mean, did you learn anything during the 12 years of high school other than maybe a little bit of math and a little bit of comprehension skills that that you may have learned from taking from literature or English? Other than that, what did you really learn? I mean, did you learn how to do home repairs? I'm not talking anything in detail. I'm just talking about the basics. Did you learn how to fix anything on your vehicle? For most of us, the answer is going to be no. And, when we were taking our history class, social studies, government, whatever the hell you want to call it, what did we truly learn about the government? Did we learn about all the crooked politicians on every level of the government? Of course we didn't. They're not going to teach us that. And even when it comes to health class, did we truly learn the fundamentals of living a healthy life? Again, I would say the answer to that question is no. So the question remains, what did you truly learn in high school? Okay, so for some of you, you go on to 4 years of college, running up a shitload of student loan debts, taking a bunch of bullshit courses that don't even pertain to your major. So outside of the courses you had to take for your major, what did you truly learn in college? Did you learn how to turn what you're going? Did you learn how to turn your education into running your own business? No. If you want to learn that, I guess you can go and earn you a business degree, which from what I understand, those degrees are worthless. The only way you're going to truly learn about business is to get out here and just go cold turkey and learn as you go along with it. So even when it comes to your college education, what did you really learn? What did you truly get out of your education, other than a piece of paper stating that you're certified? I mean, what did you truly get for many of you? I mean, a lot of the degrees out here are just straight bullshit degrees that are of little to no use. And if you earn them, you're going to be looking for a job for a very long time. Or if you find a job, you're going to be making less money with your college degree than what somebody might earn working a trade that maybe they just had to go through a year or two of apprenticeship training, and now they're making way more money than you are, And plus, they don't even have the student loan debt that you got. Think about that for a minute. Now, for those of you that went to school for nursing, you went to school for engineering, you went to school for STEM, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about those who went to school and they earned a degree just for the sake of earning a degree. But didn't find out until it was too late that their degree was worthless. I'm talking to y'all. Okay, fast forward. So you're working this good paying job. You're making good money. You're on your way to what they call success. You got full health benefits, dental, health, eyes, all that. For those of you that got family, that got children, all your kids are covered. So you're doing good. You know what I'm saying? You're doing good. You got a little bit of PTO time, you got some vacation time, you got some sick days. Maybe you might get a few little bonuses throughout the year for one reason or another. Your boss likes you, at least you think they do. So, okay, you're doing good. So another thing they tell you to do is get a stable job. And I remember when I was young, my elders used to tell me, get a job that's stable to where they're going to pay you a pension after 25 to 30 years. To where you get fringe benefits. Fringe benefits, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys don't even know what that is because we live in a whole different world than what it was even, 25, 30 years ago. So that's what many of us of my generation have been told when we was young. Get a good job, get a stable job. Retire after 25, 30 years and get a pension and all that good stuff. Okay, so you're working this job. You're thinking everything's going to be good. Your boss likes you. Your pay's good. Your benefits good. You're working for a major Fortune 500 company that's been around since the 1800s. So you're thinking, you know what? I don't have to worry about getting laid off. My position is critical for the operation of the company. I went to school for 4 years for this degree. I'm good. I'm educated. You know what I'm talking about? I'm educated. Well, 2 years in, 5 years in, 15 years in, 20 years in, or maybe 25 years in, right before you qualify for a pension, 25 years or so in, you get that dreaded email. No, you get that email. You don't know what the email is about. It reads kind of strange. Or two, your supervisor might come to your cubicle or wherever you're working, and he or she might tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey man, come here. We got words. You was back in the office." So you go back to the office, they're gonna have a word with you. Okay, you're thinking, okay, well, what did I do? They like me. I've been doing my job. I'm a good worker. I'm never late. I'm always on time. So what's going on? So maybe you're thinking, okay, well, maybe they're going to give me a promotion. Maybe they're going to give me a pay raise. Well, they bring you into the office, close the door behind you, and that's if you're lucky. Or two, they might not even have you come to the office. They might give you like a group chat type of a situation and tell everybody what's going on at once. But one way or another, your higher ups let you know that basically, sorry ma'am, sorry sir, you're being laid off today. Today is your last day of work. And then they'll read off some bullshit script about why they're letting you go. So you're sitting around, you're puzzled, you're thinking, man, you know what? How am I going to pay my mortgage? I just bought my house like 10 months ago. I just bought me a new car 2 months ago. How am I going to pay my note? How am I going to pay my mortgage? I got my kid getting braces. I got to make the monthly payments so my kid can continue to have their braces, to straighten out their teeth. I got my son doing this. I got my daughter doing that. How am I going to pay all these different bills? I got my kid in private school, whatever the case might be. You got all these different bills you got to pay. And you basically have structured your life around this job that was supposed to be stable. And then just like that, they lay you off. Just like that. So much for your stable job. And obviously so much for the stable pay. And so much for your health coverage because you done lost your job. So now you have all these bills you got to pay. Oh, and by the way, they tell you to go out here, purchase a home, own a home. It is better to pay a mortgage as opposed to paying rent. Now, let's stop for a second. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Me, I'm a huge advocate of being a homeowner. I love being I love being a homeowner. Well, however, let's just be realistic now. So, many of us have been told since forever, it is always better to own than to rent. And that should be a goal in every adult person's life, is to be able to own a home. Yes, your mortgage is going to be, for most people who own homes today, yes, your mortgage is going to be 30 years. For some of you, if it passes, some of y'all are going to probably be dumb enough to sign on to pay 50-year mortgage, which to me is idiotic, but I digress. But for now, yes, your mortgage is going to be 30 years. Many of you, when you take out 30-year mortgages, you neglect to do some damn math. Because having you done your math on a 30-year mortgage, you will understand that if you make the minimum payments at the end of 30 years, you would have paid for your house and you would have been able to have bought a house for the bank. So one house for you, one house for the bank. Or maybe 2 or 3 houses for the bank. Who knows? Maybe they're frugal like I am. But anyways, one house for you, 1 or 2 houses or so for the bank. At the end of 30 years, that's how much money you're going to have them paid on your mortgage. Like you purchased a home for, I remember back in 2008, I purchased a home in Southern Tennessee for $75,000. Now, if I would have kept that mortgage and made minimal payments, at the end of 30 years, I would have done paid $172,000 total. So basically, one house for me, one house for the bank. Or maybe 2 houses for the bank. Who knows? I think y'all get what I'm trying to say. So you got this 30-year mortgage that you're on the hook for. You got this 30-year mortgage. A mortgage, owning a home is supposed to be a tool of stability. It's supposed to be a tool to build wealth. That's what they tell you anyways. That, it's supposed to be. But again, is it really? Now the answer to that question is, it depends on how you go about buying your home. Now me personally, I would never sign on a 30-year mortgage. I mean, at this point in my life, I wouldn't do no mortgage at all. Knowing what I know about mortgages, nah, you can have that shit. But anyways, so owning a home is supposed to be a tool of stability, a tool to build your wealth. So you lost your good paying job. And who knows how long it's going to take you to get a job that's going to pay compatible to what you were making before. For many people, your next job, if it's in that field, will probably pay you less, significantly less than what you was earning before. For most people, that's how it seems to be working, unfortunately. Because a lot of these companies will find ways to get the work done for far less money. Ultimately you get this new job. And maybe with this new job you get, what if you can't afford to keep the lifestyle that you've had before? What if you have to change your life? And changing your lifestyle, what if that includes taking your house and trying to sell it? And then when you're trying to sell your house, what if you sell your house during the time wherein the market is not doing so good? Maybe the market is bad and the value of your home is down. So if you sell your house, you might even have to entertain a short sale if your bank allows that to happen. Or two, if it's real bad for you, you might have to just let your house go to foreclosure, and then your credit for the next 10 years or so is going to be jacked up. And most likely you have to file bankruptcy protection. So if that were to happen, where is the wealth building when it came to that home? Where is your wealth at? There is none. There is none. You lost money. All the money that you put down initially to buy that house, you lost all that. All the money that you may have paid for repairs over the years, for however long you own that house, you lost all that. The money you paid every month on that mortgage, well, you might as well have just paid your rent, because clearly you lost all that money too. And bear in mind, I'm just talking worst scenario. Because I can talk best scenario too, but that's not what this video is about. See, right now, you got more people now than I would say you got more people now than you had in a long time that are going through it in the worst of ways when it comes to finances and other aspects of life. So that's why I'm making this video, because I want people to truly think. I mean, is stability a reality? I mean, the way that things are ran in this country and in countries similar to this one, is stability a reality or is it a illusion? I want you all to think about that for a minute. If you want to answer that question in the comments, go ahead. I would like to see your answers. I would like to see your answers. So, okay, you lost your job, you lost your house, you got a new job, and now you probably had to let your house go because your new job doesn't pay as much. Now, what's next? Well, many of us, well, maybe some of us have been told that, you know what, we need to set aside at least 15% of our take-home income every month or every check, which I agree we do. But if you get a job and then you lose your job, that's going to interrupt your ability to put money away for that rainy day, to put money away for your retirement. Not to mention all the money that is taken out of your check for taxes. I mean, all of us are forced to pay into the Social Security system. And when you look at the amount of money that the average person pays into the Social Security system, and then you compare it to the little bit of money that you get once you start collecting Social Security, which for people in my generation, at least the way it is now, we're not going to be eligible to collect full benefits until 67. So, if you're like me and you started your first W-2 job at age 16 and you are not able to quit working until you're 67 in order to qualify for full Social Security benefits, when you do the math of how much money that you done paid into the Social Security system. Now, the other day I Googled it because I was curious, and the average person pays in $360,000 into Social Security throughout their lifetime that they work a W-2 job. So I was just thinking, rather than paying into this bogus Social Security system that all of us are forced by law to pay into, I was just thinking, if we were able to take that money and put it in like either a Roth IRA or some kind of mutual fund to where you can to where we all can take advantage of the properties of compound interest. All of us, well, maybe not all of us, but I would say the vast majority of us, by the time we turn even 62, and definitely by the time we turn 67, we will all be millionaires. We will all be millionaires. We wouldn't have to be living off of no measly $1,200, $1,500, $1,800 a month. We would be able to live off of way more money than that. We would be able to live off of 2 to 3 times that amount of money, because all of us, or at least most of us, would be millionaires. But see, the way they do Social Security, unfortunately, the money that we pay into the Social Security system, I mean, us normies, we don't get to that money. For us, is not going to collect compound interest. I would say, if anything, we're losing money in the Social Security system the way it is. We're losing money. Us normies, we're losing money, because most of us are paying more into the system than what we're going to get out of it. Most of us are. So, again, to me, I think the Social Security system is a big illusion and it needs to be revamped. And then when you look at the leadership, when you look at your political leadership, I don't care if we're talking about the local, the state, or the federal. Now, anymore, I think political leadership is an illusion. Because in my humble opinion, your politicians don't truly work for us normies like me and you. I mean, yeah, they're supposed to work for us, but they don't. They work for the people on top. They work for the ones who own the large businesses in town. You know, on the state and federal level, they work for the large box. They work for the large box businesses, the corporations, the WalMarts, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, and all of them. They don't truly work for me and you. Like I said on a video that I made maybe a few weeks or so ago, when it comes to politics, us normies, we fight each other over breadcrumbs. Because at the end of the day, these politicians give us breadcrumbs and warm water. As for all your higher ups, your owners of your larger corporations, they get the full course meals with the champagne and the dessert. Us normies, we get some breadcrumbs and some warm water, and if we dare ask for anything beyond that, they get pissed. How dare us to ask for anything else beyond some crumbs and some warm water? How dare us? And that's basically how we're treated by by our leadership. My humble opinion again. So let's see. And speaking of politics, again, many of us have been told since we were 18 years old, register to vote. If you don't get out and vote, then you ain't got no right to complain about nothing that goes on up in this country. Nothing. If you did not vote, you cannot complain. Your vote counts. And that's what all of us have been told since forever. Now, I would like to think that our vote counts, but the way things are going, the way they've been going since forever, I don't think our vote means two shits. I mean, maybe they might count as, maybe on paper our vote counts. But does our vote truly count? I mean, do these politicians truly do what is in the better interest of the average American man and woman? I would say for the most part the answer to that question is no. So does our vote truly count? You can answer that. You can answer that question in the comments if you would like. So basically, if you follow the path that has been set, well, I ain't gonna say set, but if you follow the path of life that many of us are told to follow, you know, get that right education, be a good employee, have good work ethic, be loyal to your employer, manage your money right, do all that good stuff. As long as you do all that good stuff, you're good to go. And my question is, and I would say for many of us, although that could be true, in my humble opinion, there's a lot of people that seem to have fell between the cracks. Like, when you look at our elderly population, I mean, how is it in a first world country that we have so many elderly people that are being forced to live out of their vehicles? They're being forced to live out of tents. They can't even, their Social Security doesn't even afford them to pay rent at a regular sticks and brick structure, whether it be a house or an apartment. Or two, if they pay their rent, then that's all the money they got. They don't got no money for nothing else. And how is it that when these people get Social Security, they don't even qualify for food stamps? I mean, okay, they get $1,800 a month for Social Security, and to the government, that's too much money for them to qualify for food stamps. Here in the meantime, even if you go to a state to where rent prices are a little cheaper, like let's say Indiana, if you want to live somewhere that's not in the ghetto, a one-bedroom apartment, a studio or a one-bedroom apartment is going to run, I would say, at least $700 a month. And then by the time you pay all of your utilities, internet, and all that good stuff, you're going to probably be, I would say, close to $1,000 out the door when it comes to your housing needs. And that doesn't even include any food. So if your Social Security is, let's say, $1,800 a month, and your housing is $1,000, that only leaves you $800 a month. So out of the $800 a month, you gotta pay everything else. When you do the math on that, things are gonna be extremely tight, at best. And then, of course, let's say you've lived a responsible life. You've ate a reasonably healthy diet for the most part. Well, what if it's in your genes to where you get a heart attack, God forbid, or you have a stroke, God forbid, or cancer, God forbid, or some other health condition, God forbid, and now your entire life is changed. You can no longer, if you was working, you can no longer work. Now you have to go on SSI, which is going to be a fraction of the money that you were making compared to what you were making when you was working, most likely. And let's say you get so ill that you can't even take care of yourself. You have to have 24/7 care. So if you're required to have 24/7 care, either A, you're going to have to somehow in some way pay for somebody to come to your house and provide you 24/7 care, or B, you're going to have to be admitted to some kind of a facility for that type of care. But either which way it goes, none of that is going to be free. So how do you pay? Now, most people are not going to have the money to pay for any of that type of stuff. Most people are only one major health condition away from having their entire life savings completely wiped out. And that's real talk. I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire. I don't care if you're a regular average 9 to 5 worker making 15 bucks an hour. Most of us are only one major health condition away from potentially losing all of our wealth. Scary shit. That's the type of health care system that we have in this country, unfortunately. But anyways, so what if you have a major health condition and you're unable to pay for the care? Well, the government will help you out. Of course they will. Are they going to just help you out and that's it? No. I mean, they're going to put you on some type of program to where, yes, they will help you out. They will pay the bills for you. However, here's the catch. That house that you done worked 30 plus years of your life to pay off, that you had, that you put in your will to pass down to your children when you pass away, guess what? Not no more. The house now belongs to the government because, hey, if they're going to pay for your health care, that house that you're going to pass on to your children or your child, not no more. It's going to the government. That chunk, that money that you may have saved up over the years because you were an avid investor, you took a lot of sacrifices, you lived a frugal life, you were very conservative with your money. So that chunk of money that you set aside that you were going to give to your children or your offsprings when you pass away, not no more. Guess who gets that money? You got it, the government. And if you have to go on SSI and you're younger than 62, I'm thinking, like if you get hurt real bad, or you get cancer or some major illness, and let's say you're in your 40s and you can't work because of the illness. Again, at some point, you will qualify. You will most likely qualify for SSI, provided that you can provided that you can show a crap load of paperwork. So once you're on SSI, guess what? Your days of being able to have a extra chunk of cash set aside somewhere, your days of being able to invest a percentage of your income, them days are over. Because once you get on SSI, guess what they're going to do? If you have more money than what's allowed in your account, the government is going to reach into your account and they're going to take that money straight up out of your account. Think about that. For those of you that want to be on SSI because you are in a little bit of pain and you just don't feel like working no longer, once you get on SSI, part of being on SSI means the government is now going to be pocket watching you. And if you have more money than the money that's allotted in your account, they're going to take that money. If you go out and you buy that newer car, you buy that big ticket item, guess what? The government's going to be on to you. They're going to know about it one way or another. And either A, you're going to have to turn around and sell that item, or B, you'll be kicked off of SSI. So yeah, you get on SSI, the government is going to be pocket watching you. So, yeah. Again, is there really such thing as stability in this day and age? Is there really such thing as stability? Or is it all a big illusion? I got my thoughts, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are in the comments. And this video is, well, I'm already 38 minutes into the video, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up with this. Here's my thoughts. Now, I can go on and on about this topic if I wanted to, but as far as I'm concerned, the video is longer than what it should have been anyways, but whatever. But here's my thoughts. My thoughts are this. I don't think there's truly such thing as stability. Stability, as many of us may have known it to be in the past, stability, as many of us may have been told, well, let me rephrase it here. I mean, what we may have been told stability was, I don't think that's true either. I mean, I think the best way that any of us can live a life to where there's stability is, the best stability any of us are going to have is we're going to always have to be prepared to adapt. And I don't think the answer to living a stable life is to live a life to where you're miserable. You can't travel. You can't do anything because you're always in fear of this and that and the third. I don't think that's a healthy way to live your life. See, my thoughts are, however it is you want to live your life, obviously use common sense. Don't break the law or hurt nobody or do anything stupid. But outside of that, my thoughts are however it is that you want to live your life, live your life. You want to travel the country and live in an RV? Do that. You want to move to another country and you can afford to do it? Do that. Oh, and that's another thing before I forget. Speaking of which, some of you are probably thinking, well, I'm going to escape the madness here in the Western Hemisphere by moving to another country. Now, my understanding is there was a time where, yeah, you can move to another country and things would work for the better for the majority of the people. But in more recent years, there's been a lot of people that have moved to other countries and things weren't exactly as peachy as they thought it would be. And as a result, many of those people have came back to the United States. And apparently there's a lot of red tape that some of these other countries are putting on American expats that are going over there. Like some certain countries you go to now, you have to have a certain amount of money at all times in your savings in order to live in that country. Not to mention, in a lot of these other countries, since they're developing countries that people are going to, their economy is not going to be as good as the economy here in America, in North America. So even if you choose to move to another country, it's still not going to guarantee you a better life than what you're currently living here in the States. You go to another country, you're going to go there, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to encounter a different set of problems. So I would say for many of us, the idea of just simply leaving the United States and moving to another country, and that's going to be the answer to all of our difficulties, I would say that in itself for many of us is going to prove to be an illusion too. So let me see. So now that I got all that off my chest, I'm going to say this. However it is, you want to live your life. Live your life. You want to travel? Travel. You want to move to another country and you can afford to do so? Do that. If you want to live out of a vehicle, do that. If you want to live out of a vehicle part-time and the other part of the time you got a home base, do that. Most likely that's what I'm going to be doing. But that's my attitude. I mean, there is truly no such thing as a stable way of life, the way there used to be. In this day and age, with the way everything is, I would say live your life. Live on your own terms. If you don't want to work a 9 to 5 and you got your own thing going on and it pays you enough to pay your bills, do that. But however it is you choose to live your life, always be prepared to adapt. And for everybody, that's going to be different. It's going to be different for everybody. That's what I meant to say. I'm talking backwards here. Sorry. So yeah, however it is you choose to live your life, always be prepared to adapt. Be prepared financially. Be prepared physically. Be prepared mentally and spiritually. And that's all I got for this one. Hopefully I made some sense today. Hopefully I gave you all some nuggets to at least think about and take into consideration. Stay blessed.